Welcome back to Storytime with Sean. Turning the other cheek and being the bigger person can be good, but sometimes, don't you want to be petty? All the stories today are from Petty Revenge. Story 1 is titled, You Want to Make Me Do Your Work For You? Well, now you can't take your break. I have a coworker who is incredibly lazy. She's never been a hard worker, but within the last year, it's gotten bad. She could technically retire, but chooses not to for whatever reason, which I wouldn't mind if you actually did your job. But not only will she never help in the office, she doesn't even get her own work done. As you can probably tell, this woman annoys the heck out of me for a multitude of reasons. We have a system in our office where all customer questions go into the same queue. If it's an email, a voicemail, part of an online chat conversation with an employee in another department, it goes into this queue. For whatever reason, anytime my coworker encounters a question that will take more than about 10 seconds to answer, she assigns it to me. Which, yes, I am very knowledgeable about our department. However, this woman has worked here 3 times as long as I have and should know these things herself. Today, she assigned me a question, and as soon as I read it, I have no idea why she assigned it to me. Because she should have assigned it to my boss and/or talked to my boss about it. As mentioned, I assigned it to my boss and then go and tell her about it. During the beginning of our conversation, I overhear said coworker on the phone ordering food for lunch. Usually, she hangs up the phone and waits about 5 minutes and then heads over to pick up the food. While I'm still in my boss's office talking about this question, I should probably mention my manager loves to talk, and while usually I'm trying to slowly back out of her office to end a conversation, this time I take a seat and proceed to actively engage. So the minutes are ticking by and my coworker can't take her break because someone always needs to be in the office, and obviously I'm unavailable. At one point, I kind of tilt the chair so I can see her out of the corner of my eye, and I can tell she's itching to run out of there, but she can't leave. What should have been at most a 5-minute conversation turned into a 20-minute conversation. Then I added a little more revenge because as soon as I left my manager's office, I ran out of our office to use the restroom, just to delay her break a little further. I can't tell you how satisfied I feel right now. Wow. I wonder if that cold pizza or room temperature burger or soggy french fries turned that lady into a better coworker. Probably not, but maybe she got fed up and retired. On to story 2. Story 2 is titled, Can't Park in Front of Your Own House? Whoops, no more secondary income. I live in a small neighborhood with maybe 20 total homes. Each home has about 50 feet of road frontage, 3+ car garages, and large driveways, and parking is permitted on both sides of the street. As such, there's never been a reason to park in front of a home that isn't yours that you're not visiting unless there's some sort of event. Most of the neighbors are friendly and know each other, so in the time I've lived there, parking has never been an issue. Until last month. Last month, a neighbor from the far end of the development started parking daily and overnight in the smack dab middle of our property's road frontage. Odd. But maybe she's having work done on her driveway and wants to park away from the fumes? I don't know. Things happen. It's not a big deal. But after 5 nights of this, I'm getting a little fed up. The yard guys can't cut the grass where her car is located. Deliveries of large items are postponed because they can't get up our driveway without the extra turning radius. So I leave a note, I know, on her windshield. It's a quick note explaining that it'd normally be a non-issue, but we have some deliveries coming and it would help us if she could move her car back to her home for this week. Edit for clarity. The note did not ask her to move permanently, but asked if she could move temporarily for 3 days, I think we asked, so we could mow without getting grass on her car, and so the delivery drivers could get in the driveway. We had a few large deliveries that required big trucks with large turning radiuses. No response, but the note is gone the next morning. The car is still there, and our other neighbor texts us, Hey OP, you might want to watch out for mean neighbor. She started cussing me out for the note left on her windshield and said it was public property so she could park there as much as she wants. Not cool, but since I don't want to pick a fight, what is there to be done? The next time she moves her car, I pull in front of my own house. This does not make her happy. She spends the next few days flipping off my Ring doorbell camera from the street, leaving notes on my car that are never threatening, but never kind, like F you and political slur. Game on. Edit. I did not get revenge for her parking in an obviously public place as explained, but her flipping me off, cursing me out, and leaving cruel notes on our car when we parked in front of our own home. It didn't take much digging to realize that there were regularly unusual out-of-state cars parked at her actual home, and even less digging to find her home listed on Airbnb for way more per night than her entire mortgage. A few quick calls to the county and wouldn't you know it, Airbnb and short-term rentals are completely forbidden, no exceptions in our neighborhood. On top of that, the county zoning commissioner finds out she's been renting her home for almost a decade, and each rental violation equates to a $250 fine. You can do the math. I'm not sure what happened after, but we do know she received a court order of some sort, and more importantly, she stopped parking in front of our house. Guess she had to find a job that didn't include flipping people off all day. I will never understand people like this. You're literally breaking the law, and then you basically challenge your neighbor. What are you gonna do about it? They did something about it. That lady owes a lot of money. Somewhere Kevin Hart is saying, you gonna learn today? Well, she did. On to story 3. This one made me feel seen. Story 3 is titled, Spam the Spammers. Just read another story about calling over 260 times to a company reminded me of my own spamming the spammers. So I have a service business in the US and have to answer all of my calls. Over the years in business though, I've learned that some specific cities that pop up on caller ID under the number are 99% spam, so don't answer. During the summer months, I will get upwards of 50 plus spam calls a day. I counted one day and literally had 53 spam calls between the hours of 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. During my slower times, I get bored and sometimes I'll play with the spammers. I found out these spammers are from a call center cold calling people spoofing from local numbers to make you think they're local. They're screening for potential customers for legit companies to see if you're a lead they can sell to those companies for money. The people whose numbers they're spoofing have no idea their number's being used. I've returned missed calls and the people who answer tell me they never called me, and I've also had people call me telling me they missed my call when I've never called them, so they're spoofing my number sometimes as well. Anyways, these cold callers from the call centers usually have a script with a couple of specific questions to see if you fit the lead they can sell to these companies who employ their services, whether it be for Medicare, Medicaid, solar, etc. Sometimes the first caller transfers you to another person with an accent for further screening, and sometimes you get sent directly to the company who's using the cold calling company. The company who usually pays for these leads is the end game. When I'm slow with work and bored, I'll play along with an old person voice until I get to this company. One time, after playing along with this spammer, I was transferred to a company in Little Rock, Arkansas. Somehow I managed to play along far enough without setting off their alarm bells to hang up, as so often happens when I try to get specific company info to get their company name or the name of a single individual. At that point, I dropped the old person voice and proceeded to inform the lady of my plight. How many calls I received in a day, of how much time these calls waste, of how many potential customers I'm potentially losing because my phone doesn't stop ringing with spam calls and real customers can't get through. Then I informed her that for every spam call I received, I would call them and specifically ask for her. By the 5th call that half hour to her, I could feel the frustration and helplessness in her voice when she pleaded with me that, "We've already emailed them to remove your number, sir. What more do you want me to do?" I want you and every company that uses these spammers to stop using them. Then I hung up. Maybe it was the fact that I was able to return my frustration to a company that was making my life hell. Maybe I felt bad for an office person who likely had no control over the fact that her company was utilizing these companies, but I stopped asking to be transferred to her directly. However, I did continue to call and hang up every time I received a spam call for the next several days. Story 3 made me feel seen. I've been on the end of a phone working in a call center where somebody spoofed our number, and when people called back to yell, guess who they got? I've never forgotten about the Jamaican lady who wouldn't listen to me, that we weren't scamming anyone, and somebody stole our number. I'll never forget that Jamaican tongue lashing with those curse words, but since this is a family channel, you will not be getting an impression. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. As usual, it's always fun to read to you. If you like what you're hearing or seeing, depending on how you view me, please continue to come back and like, share, and subscribe with everybody who knows you. Every time I see a like or a comment, you make my day. We're on the road to getting 100 subscribers with the ultimate goal of monetizing. Thanks so much for hanging out with me, and we'll see you next time. By now, YouTube is probably showing you some other options for some other videos that we've done. Any one you click will be worth your time. Thanks so much for stopping by, and we'll see you in the next episode. Have a good one.